field observation of a grade 2 class in Massachusetts. We'll first talk about the environment and the teaching styles. The literacy-enriched environment, this teacher has done well to make the class a literacy-enriched environment, as you can see in the picture. She has created a separate table dedicated specifically to the reading section. This way, children can be seen when interacting and can get the necessary extra attention. When the children sit at this table, their brains are already prepared for a reading session, as their other classwork tables are separated. Print-rich environment has been well. The classroom has been labeled with words and pictures everywhere so that students can constantly connect written words with the things they represent. The teacher does well to also display these labels based on the students' needs. There is evidence of various reading styles. The teacher reads aloud to the children. Each child gets a chance to read individually. They read sections of the book as a group together out loud. They were also reading in pairs, and there's also silent reading where they read on their own. Now moving on to organization and classroom design. Developing literacy growth. This is critical in a classroom, and the teacher does well in providing a well-designed classroom layout and design. This teacher does well in providing a temporary structure, or is known as scaffolding, by introducing the literature material in a literature circle. She has a small interactive group that allows her to discuss with the children how to use or understand the material as they read about it. There, for example, is a discussion about the different animals found in a particular desert and what animals could or could not survive in the desert, and also why. She also uses where she cuts out specific things from the side where she makes it more interactive as well. There are no anchor charts. I cannot see any anchor charts around from the reading circle, but it's possible that they are in the classroom, just not from my view. There's a small corner library which can be seen behind the teacher. This library is not appealing, as it appears more as a storage unit and only for the teacher's access. And unfortunately, there's also seems to be no theme or shared genre. The classroom does lack a visual display of the theme of the book or genres that the group is discussing. And moving on to learning environment. The children are working with illustrated books. The students are reading mostly illustrated books, it seems, and they are easy to read. The picture enhances the book, but does little to add to the actual story. The teacher does make the book interactive by discussing the meanings of a word or discussing animal habitats. The main genre found is realistic fiction. The trade books used are engaging and appearing to have sparked an interest with the children, so they've gotten a good reaction out of them, or good response out of them. The children are responding well, as they seem to be able to create a connection to the literature. The students are making connections between information they already know and the new information given to them in the form of writing. They are clearly connecting the literature to the real world. Moving on to reading, instruction, and strategies. A key note that is that the teacher asks the children to keep their finger on their word they are reading, or discuss that so they can visually make note of the word. The teacher appears to consider the diverse needs and skills of students in the group. The reason she split the class into groups was to ensure more one-on-one interaction with the students. They play with printouts. That was previously seen where she had cut out certain pictures and things and used them and displayed them on the table as an activity. The teacher had additional cutout images to ensure to engage with the students. She made this into an activity where the students could make selections. Various teaching techniques were used. The role of the teacher was encouraging to all attempts at reading, writing, speaking, allowing the students of various ability to experience the different functions and use of the literature activities. The students used a variety of methods of communicating with students by asking questions, labeling objects, and experience with new vocabulary. And she also offered a practice to help students remember and generalize new concepts and skills, which was great. The activity gave opportunity to integrate and extend the students' literacy knowledge by reading out loud and also listening to other students read out loud as well. The temporary structure, the scaffolding, there was present of that. Posters are also present of printed media for ESOL students. And there was no multicultural lecture presented. Most of the students in the one group seemed like they were multicultural and that if English may not be the first language. However, that is purely based on assumption. These kids could have been brought up in the country and English could very well be their first language. Now looking at a couple of opportunities for improvements. The classroom's library improvements. This could be done with entire makeover. This area is more of the teacher's access. It seems only that the teacher has access and seems to be a storage unit. To make this more appealing and motivating, there could be labels of the books or categories of the different books. Adding some shelving unit could help the space to make baskets, separate the groups of books, and also perhaps asking students how they would like to separate the books. Also looking at the board setup, it's clear in the picture that the board is completely white. There's not made a proper use of the board. There's multiple changes that could be done with the board because there's nothing on it at all. It could be made more interactive, provide a learning opportunity. You could, for example, place the different months of the year on the board and then standing out what month it actually is of the year. You could do something like the week's focus of objectives could be written on the board. For example, you could put something, focus week of the question, what are nouns and verbs, and maybe give this as an opportunity to discuss this with the children. And also maybe something different like trait of the day, brave, write an explanation for what brave is. And then you could use that as well to really connect to the theme of the stories if a specific theme or genre is actually selected. And what was used was the second grade reading in Massachusetts from 2015. And the video can be found on the link below. Thank you.